Okay, so I'm not recording, um, modeling a coffee table. And this is the first one we're gonna do in Cinema 4D. Here's a reference picture. As you can see, the top, it's got marble, it's like some wood. We see like a little push in right there. It's not like flush. So I'm guessing it's not flush over there as well. So let's build this out. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean this out, and I'm just gonna select everything. I could hide everything, but instead I'm just gonna start new and select all this stuff and delete it. Now I'm going to start with my cube. Cool, right? Now, what I don't see is those little yellow dots that allow me to scale. Because if I try to scale, it lets me just scale on this axis. So instead, I'm going to click on this right here, use the model mode, and now I see my dots. Now I'm just going to eyeball this and make it look as close as what I think the table looks like. So I'm press E to move it up, grab the dot, stretch it out, and I'm going to scale it down a little bit, and I'll move this over here. And to me, that looks pretty close to my reference. Maybe just a little bit thinner. Okay, cool. Now, what I do notice is on my reference, there's some roundness right here. As you can see, the little highlight right there. So that means that there's a bevel or a fillet. Both kind of like the same thing. So to access that, I'll just click on my object. I'll go to fillet. And now we have ourselves our fillet. And I can grab this dot right here and scale it in, try to get right. Okay, cool. I don't know about y'all, but I'm loving it. Great. So I have the top of this and I believe it's done. All right. So let's get these legs. First, actually, let's look at yeah, let's look at the length of this, right? So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna copy this, right? Because I'm gonna make that little side piece now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press Control and left click and drag. So look, it just dragged this whole thing up. And the reason I did this because this is the right length. So I just want this to be a little bit shorter so I can make those legs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now scale this in a little bit because it's going to uniformly scale it on both these sides right here. And I'll move this one right here to about right here. Let's say, cool. Now I'll just drag this down. Now, if I need to, I'll middle mouse button click. I'll go into this mode. Look, I don't know where my object is, right? Let me just press O. Oh, there it is. I can see it now. And look, it's right there near the bottom of the table. If I go over here and I press O, I see everything over here now too. And if I go over here and I press O, 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 all right, now I'm looking at it from the top. And I'm holding Alt right click just because these windows are rotated. That's why I really wish a new way to lock that. I might even Google that after this. All right, great. See if there was let me see something. View. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so I'll middle mouse button click to enlarge this window. So what I'll do is I'll take this, I'll move it over here. And I'll even use these grid lines to help me, right? So I'll move this right here and I'll move this up. And we have that. Then I'll control click just to copy this. And I'll move it here too, right? So you see this grid line, this grid line. Okay, cool. It's looking nice so far. So now what I'll do is I'll click on this. And look, it's in rectangle mode. So if I press 9, I can get back to a regular 9 live selection. So I'll click on this and I'll do the same thing. Control click. Now I have this one. I copied it again. I will scale this down to about this way. Now let's go in here and let's place it over here, right? So we see our original. So if I scale this in, should fit in perfectly right there. Cool, right? It's in the center. We don't want it on the center, we want it on the edge. So let's bring it over here. Cool. And you know what I'll do? I'll even scale it in a little bit like this. Middle mouse button click, so I have the full view. And I'll just place it right there. And since I already have this made, it's already scaled down to the right scale and it's in the right location. All I'm gonna do now is copy it. And we can see what the copy is gonna do. In this is our perspective, so I'll just control click. Now move this over here. Let me zoom in and get it. Oh, didn't mean to scale it. Just want to grab the arrow and just place it right here. Middle mouse button click. Look at that. Perfect. All right. So now all we need to do is create that other leg. So let's do it. And to do that, I'll just create a cube. And let me look at this cube, this from the side. Just make it about this tall. Scale it in. I think it's about that height, right? Maybe a little bit more. Now I'll take this, put it to the bottom of this table, and put it over here in this corner. Now let's see what it looks like. It needs some, still pretty wide. So I'm gonna go into this view. Let's scale it. Now, if I really want to get it perfect dimensions, right, I can just go over here to the size and just go over here and I can type in, I don't know, let's say 75. And then for Z, type in 75. Now it's a perfect square, right? And then I can just take this, drag it over here. Well, let me do it on this view. 75 might be a bit too much. Let's do 65. Well, let's just do 50. 50. All right, yeah, I like that. All right. So you have this. You just push it in there. And now we have ourselves a table leg. And if we want just to like make everything look, well, I guess to push these pieces into there, we could just press T to scale and just scale up a little bit. Or, you know, we could do that, or we can just go over here and change these again. So I could do, I don't know, maybe let's change it to 65. All right, so 65 isn't that bad, actually. Okay, cool. Now we have this right here. Now let's give it a little bit of a fillet, just a little bit. And then I'll press E to move, and I'll just push it up into the table. So instead of it being flush like this, which can be the case sometimes, but for this one, looking at our reference, I'm just gonna push it up inside there. And sometimes we delete those faces, but for this, we won't. So now just middle mouse button click. Go to this side right here. So we already have our leg right here. And I can even name it leg too. Let me do that for organization. Leg. Right? So if I do control click, copy it, drag it over. Look at that. Right? We got ourselves our other leg. Now, if I select these two legs, and look what it did, leg one, leg and leg one. So if I select these two legs and I go back into this view, right? Because remember, we just copied it over in the right side. So this is looking at it like this. Now we want to look at it like this because we want to copy these legs over. So we made one there. It's in the perfect place for us. Let's just do the same thing over here. Control click. And so we have these right here. Let's push it into this right here. Look at this. Dang. Right there. And now we have ourselves a coffee table. And we have our legs. So I can do a shift and grab all these legs, or I can just go like this. And then I can do Alt G, press Alt G to make a group. The default name is null, which just means nothing. And then we'll type in leg underscore GRP. Those are the legs. And then we can select this tabletop since we have a bunch of stuff, and we could just name this tabletop. Cool. And then we have the rest of these, which remember I can click on one, hold down shift and click on those. Or I can go like this. And then I can just do an Alt G. And then I can name this, I don't know, side wood. Right. So I have my leg group. As you can see, it highlights my side wood and my tabletop. So what we're going to do now is group the whole thing. So I can just select everything, or I can go over here and do rectangle selection, select everything. Either way, right? Or I think if I select this and do Control A, okay, yeah, I get everything too. So select it all, and then we'll just do Alt G, and we'll name this coffee table 01, right? So now we have our coffee table 01. We have our, selves a coffee table. Now we're going to move the whole group, right? So we can move our whole group, and we can scale it up, press T, scale it this way. Ooh, that messes it up. But if we uniform scale, it stays the same, no matter how big, how small. If we want to see how big or how small, we can go get a figure. And we can just middle mouse button, press T to scale this down. Click S. Cool. And I'll do this sometimes just so I can see, the scale of some objects. That's a pretty huge coffee table, so it'd really probably be like this.
Professor Page, what if I wanted the little legs of the coffee table to be slanted inward slightly, but still be like flat on the bottom of the floor?
Oh, okay. Yeah, to do that, what we would do is we would I want to see if there's a way to do this procedurally. Sorry, so if I take this cube, let's say, and it's weird, this cube is so big, but the guy comes in smaller. Okay, so I'll do this. Let me make this leg longer. And what I do is I press C to make it editable. I go get some points, get a rectangle selection, select it, press T to scale, and I would scale it in. All right. Now what I want to see is this. If I do, it's a copy trick. So if I click on this, if I go to instance, right? And I take this and I put this into the cube instance. And I click on this and I go to the coordinates. There's a way to clone this object. I just have to find it. Is it array? I think it might be array. So if I take this cube and I put it right here, yeah, this is it, right? So if I go over here to array and go to no, this is a radial array, which is not what I want. It's or is it cloner? It might be cloner. So if I click on this, yeah, okay, this is it. Because if I go right here and I go to right now, it says count of 3 and 3. So if I go to this and I were to make myself, let's say these 3 legs, and then I select my object, and then I go to, I guess, say my component or something. Oh no, it's over here. All right. So now if I went to this, they'll all like scale at the same time. I mean, they'll
Whoa,
all work at the same time.
that's really cool.
Yeah. So you could do it that way, or you could just copy one and just move it over. So there's a couple ways you can do it. This way, it's just more procedural, just in case you wanted to like edit it, or edit one, or you thought you were going to. But if you didn't think you were gonna, edit something, then and you're like pretty sure, you're like, yo, this is just gonna be a coffee table. Nobody's gonna be, messing with it. I probably won't have to change it again. Then you could just model it and put it there. So
Okay.
both of those ways work. Okay, cool. So we have the coffee table. Well, this coffee table. Let's check out our other one. It was this one. Hold on. Downloads. It was this one and downloads. This one. I guess this one would be the hardest. So I'll do the other one now. All right, so we have this one right here. As we can see, it's going to be like this. It's going to be cylinder tube. We're going to probably do an extrusion. Yeah, it ain't going to be that bad. So let's do it. So making our other table, let me just hide this. Where is this? I was in here. So let's hide it. Cool. My objects are over there. Press O. Watch this over here. Right now, I just pressed X, and then this like disabled itself, which can make navigation weird sometimes. So it's basically like a keyboard toggle that can screw up. I can't exactly remember how this messes me up, but I know that when I press it and I use it, it can't give me issues sometimes. Anyway, let's make our other table. So I'm going to get myself not a cube, but a cylinder. All right. Let's move it over here. Now you move it over here just so I can really work on it. I'll squish it down. I'll give it a few more segments. I'll do 32. Just make it a bit more rounder. And I'll give it no height segments. Okay. So this will be my, I guess, center. Yeah, this will be my center glass, right? So then I'll control click to copy it. Now I'll middle mouse button click. I'll go on top right here and I'll scale this out a little bit like that. All right. And then what I'll do is I'll take off the cap for it. So it's just like this. And unless there's, oh, look, there's already a shape for this. So I was going to do something, but let me just hide this and I'll go get our tube. So what I was going to do is similar to this anyway. So, and also something else, when you start off with things, you want to kind of, and I guess I messed up a little bit here. You want to start in the middle of the world. Because if I move this over here and then I try to move this and put it over the center, it might be close, but it's not like perfect. And sometimes you want things to be perfect. Sometimes it's okay if they're close, but let's just make them perfect for good practice. So I'll get myself a cylinder. I'll take this, I'll raise it up, I'll squish it down. I'll scale it out a little bit. I'll go to my segments, give it 32. No height. Now I'll get myself a tube. Look at this from the top view. Remember, I can't see anything. I'll press S or O. Now this is the tube's outer radius. Let me press 9. Why can't I get that? I'm trying to scale it out. Oh, I was clicking on the wrong dot. All right. So right here. Then I'll take this dot right here. But do you see what I'm saying? When you create it in the center, there's no moving this left to right and trying to get it right. It's already correct. See what I'm saying? So now let's take this tube. Let's take down the height segments and let's scale this to be right here. Now remember, this one is 32, right? 32 rotation segments, and this one is 16. So let's make it 32. Oh, look at that. It starts to fit in there. Cool. So this piece of glass is sort of thin. So let's make it thin. Take this one right here. And we're just going to make this the same height. We could actually just copy the height. So I could go to a cylinder and I can say, okay, the height is 3.5. And I could just go to tube and say the height is 3.5. Now look at what we have. And if I really wanted to be precise, I can go get the Y coordinates. So right now it says what, 287. Let's just type in 300. So it's 300 in Y, and I'll just go over here to this cylinder and type in 300. Right? It didn't matter where I put it, 300, 200. It just matters that it's the same amount of rotation segments and it's the same height. So actually, let's take this, and remember, we're trying to be precise with it. And so let's just raise it just a touch, right? Just a touch. Because we're trying to make it look like it does in our reference. That's why we have our reference as a guide to get us as close as possible. So we have both of these. I'm just gonna go ahead and fillet this. So click on it, click on slice, fillet, give it a little tiny bit of a fillet. Can even go to this little thing right here. I just wanted to have a little bit roundness, and the same thing with this tube. I'm gonna give it a fillet. Um, no, trying to find the control for the fillet here. It's almost like it's not there. Do 0.5. Okay, yeah, just give it something slight. And we can always increase these segments if we need to. Matter of fact, let's just do it. Let's do 46 for both of these. Now, if I type in NA, kind of see what's happening. And I can always remember, take this and scale it out or make it look nice. All right, cool. So we're almost there, NB. So now I'm gonna take this centerpiece, right? Because if we look at this centerpiece looks like it's probably, now it looks like it may be a little bit bigger. So we'll just make this a little smaller. So we'll just control click, drag it down. And this radius, I'll take it in a little bit. And let me do it. All right, let's just take it in a little bit that way then. Perfect. All right, now all we need to do is make the cube. So I'll click on this right here. And let's see what it is. So just scale this in like this, scale this like this. A little bit more. Perfect. In my opinion, it's perfect. All right. Oh, let's go over here and look at it from this view. Scale it in a little bit. Yeah, actually, now looking at this thing needs to be that wide. It needs to be wide to the top. All right. And the reason why is because we're going to take this now. And now we're going to, if you look at our reference, there's one this way, one this way. So we just need to turn it 90 degrees. So I'm going to click on E to rotate, and I'm going to do copy it as well. And I'm going to hold down control, click, rotate. And where I'm looking is down here, which is -90. I'll just type in 90. So now it's there. So I have this part. Cool. And if I'm looking at my reference, this part sits on this. And we have these two pieces right here. And they look like they're about this tall. Cool. Now all I need to do is make a leg. So I can just take this right here and I can do Control. And I just took this whole leg right here, copied it, move this up. Take this now. And I'll make this a little bit wider. Put it over here. All right, that looks right to me. So right now I'm gonna press I'll take this actually, make this a little bit smaller. Now take this, press C to make it editable, go to my points, get my rectangle selection, select these points right here. Now press, what is it? T to scale, make it a little bit thinner. Make it a little bit thinner. Okay, perfect. So now I have this. Put it back in my model mode. And now I'll just duplicate it. I'll do control, click, move this over here. And now I'll select both of these, right? I'll press R to rotate. Then I'll hold down control and I'll click and I'll rotate and I'll duplicate these. Go right here, press 90. And then I'll press, looks a little off. It's all right. I'll just move it over here. Bang. And I'll take this. And I'll just move this just to make it even with this one. We have this right here. And so we have this piece right here is going to be the only one that's off. And we'll just pull it in. That's it. Now we got our table. Now I could do glass center and I can name all these legs. So I could just select them all. Alt G, legs. Alt G. I'm making up names. Under cross. And then we have the rest of this. So we have glass center. Bottom. The top wood piece, the bottom wood. And then all I gotta do is select them all. Do Alt G. Coffee table. Coffee table too. And now, of course, I can scale it because it's in a group. So I can uniform scale. Place it on the floor. Cool. So we got 2 down, right? Let's do our last one, right? A little bit tricky, got some tricky stuff going on. We can make it happen. All right, so we see the legs, they're slanted, they're cylinders with some cylinders modified, probably with the points on the bottom, pushed out. Then we have this, a piece of wood with the area cut out. Then we have this hollow piece right here. So to me, it looks like it's this bottom piece is one piece. This is the second, it's the third. This is his fourth. This is a fifth. And then this right here is the sixth. Now, if we're not going to be using this to make it like functionable, like if a character's not going to be opening the drawer and looking inside, we don't need to actually build out the drawer because I'm sure there's like a rail in here and there's like an extended piece of wood and this piece is also the same on the other side, but on the inside. So we won't need to do all that. We just need to make this part right here. So let's do it. All right, so, and let me take all my stuff and just move it over. Remember, it's always better to work in the center of the world clean. So, all right, let's make this bottom part. So I'm going to start off. I usually like to start off when the model with the biggest piece, right? Establish that biggest piece, and then you can build on top of everything else, no matter what it is, if it's a table or airplane. All right, so scale this out. It looks about the right amount of thinness to me. Now I'm going to get my fillet. Go over here. Oh no, it's a subdivision. It's not the radius. All right. Cool. I think it looks good. So now I'm gonna control click, and I'll do what I think is the top. How about the top of this? Let's look. All right, so we have this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this and I'm going to click Control C, Control V, right? So I just copied this shape right on top of itself, right? And the reason I did that is this. I want to push this over here. No, I don't want to do it like that. What I want to do is I want to press C to make it editable, right? And then I'm going to go get these points and then I'm going to select these points right here. And I'll move this. Because remember, we copied it. That's why we still see this one. But the reason I'm doing this is because I want to get it to be where I think that drawer ends. So let's just say about right here. And then I'll take the other piece. Because remember, this is the other piece. And I'll press C to make it editable. And I'll go get the points and I'll grab the rectangle. And the only reason I'm doing this is so I can have this side remain on this side and this side remain on this side and create a split right here. But remember, this isn't the only way to do this. This is just one way. All right, cool. So we have our split. So right here, I'm gonna take this and press R to rotate, right? And I'm gonna, you know what? I'll take this, control click, I'll just move it over here. R to rotate, click, shift, 90 degrees. All right, middle mouse button click, middle mouse button click. And I'm over here. I'll take this, I'll put it here. Press C to make it editable. Get to the point, grab our rectangle selection, drag this down. Pull this right up right here. Grab this right here, pull this down. Cool. See, look, it's right in the right place. Now, something to note, this right here is the pivot, right? The pivot is now down here. So if anything happens, it's like rotating, not in the center. To move the pivot where you want it to be, all you have to do is press this right here or press the letter L. So I press E to move the pivot, to get our move, and then L, and then I can move this, and then I can let go of L, and now my pivot is in the center of my object. All right, so we have this right here. Let's do a Control D. Not Control D, Control click. Move this over here now. Oh wait, it didn't do it. Yeah, Control click, sorry. Move it over. And of course, because we have a table, we have an in, Control click. Perfect. Now we gotta do ourselves a door. So we have this right here. I can press R to rotate, then I can press Control. But look at what happened. It like gave me that wild rotation. So I'll press R to rotate, hold down Control and hold and click one time, then hold down Shift. Ooh, that's a lot of stuff to do. Do 90. Nice. Now with this right here, I'll go to the points right here, rectangle selection, select these, drag these right here, put this right here, select these, and drag these right here. Cool. Now I have this. We can see the location of it, right? It's not in the back. So, wait, which way is the back? The guy's facing, just put it in object mode. Let's go like this. Cool. So we have this right here. Now do Control click. And I have this piece. So remember, I just copied this piece and I have this piece right here. And to make this little cutout right here, I'm going to introduce the new tool called, no, I think I introduced before. The, it's not insert edge loop, it's called loop path cut. So it's already editable. So I just right click. Now let me put it on a component. So let's just do faces. So I right click and I go to loop path cut, and all I gotta do is click one time, and then I can just add some more divisions. So I'll just add a bunch of them like this. And all I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna go get my points, and I'm gonna get this selection. And I just need to find out where the middle is. So I could also whittle it down too. So I have this right here. I'll just do Control on 2, Control on 3. I'll just do 2 more, all right? And what I'll just do is I'll pull these down, deselect, deselect, 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 and pull these down.
Wait, Professor, I missed that part. How do you do that? Was that a fillet? You just select points?
Um, wait. Just let me finish this out and I'll go back and I'll tell you.
Okay, okay.
Because it's there. So if I have this right here, and also what else you can do to control a little bit more is if I take all these points and you just click on the scale, and you can kind of like mess with this a little bit too. If you need to, you can go left or right on this type of thing. It just depends on what the shape looks like. Okay, so if I have this right here, yeah, now I can just take this and push this into here. Cool. And now we just have the last part, which is the legs. So let's go get ourselves a cylinder. We can go give it 32 segments just because. Take away the height segments. Go over here. Let's give it a location. Let's scale it. It looks like it might be about that. Cool. So now I'll press C to make it editable. Rectangle, selection, grab the points. Just move it, just move it a little bit further, like right about there, let's say. Yeah, and this is how I'll do it. I'll just take my rectangle selection and the points, and I'll just look at this right here and I'll say, all right, I'm just gonna drag it to about that angle. So it's about there. And then I'll look at it from right here. So all I'm just looking at is this right here, just trying to make it flush. This looks fine, I think. I think the selection at the top looks a little bit low, so I'll just spread this out a little bit more. Ooh, that's a funny thing about this. So I have to get it there, and then I'll just have to select. You have to hit the rectangle selection again, then press T, scale it down. All right. So I have this right here. So what I can do is I can, I think there's like a mirror tool, right? Has to be actually symmetry. So this is my leg. I'll go into symmetry right here and look at what it did. It made another leg on the other side. All right, cool. So we have this, and then what I can do is I can just control click and duplicate this symmetry right here. Go to rotate, click shift, click, then shift, and then rotate 180 degrees. 80. There we go. And now I just take everything, so I can just go get my rectangle selection, select all of this, and then do Alt G, and then say table 3. Now we middle mouse button click. We're over here. Now we got ourselves another table. All right. So let me press O to zoom in. Press O again. Oh. I don't know what I was pressing. Oh, and sometimes if it gets real crazy out of whack, you can just like press an object, press S, and then move with this real quick. And then that'll like have things centered. Sometimes the viewport can be doing some wild stuff. Anyway, here we go. 3 tables. And if I do an NA, you can see what they look like. And that's it.